truth is buried under layers of silence for security reasons, therefore insecurity. We are broadcasting from an undisclosed location. This is Akashic Echoes, a curiosity-fueled dive into the strange, the hidden, and the wait, what? Corners of human history, where Alex asks the questions others won't. Dr. X opens doors you didn't know existed, and Titus keeps things just grounded enough to follow the thread. It's part investigation, part storytelling, and part late night. What if everything we know is slightly off? We're not here to hand you truth, wrapped in certainty, only to spark thought, entertain the mind, and maybe raise an eyebrow or two. So tune in, enjoy the ride, and remember, take everything with a grain of salt, preferably the size of a small asteroid.
August 1964. 2 reported attacks in the Gulf of Tonkin, and within days, a resolution is passed that would dramatically escalate a war. But here's the question. Was the Gulf of Tonkin incident a clear act of aggression, or a misunderstood or misrepresented event that changed history? Dr. X, what are we told happened?
The official narrative is this. North Vietnamese forces attacked U.S. naval vessels twice. The first incident on August 2nd, confirmed. The second on August 4th, more ambiguous, but presented at the time as fact.
And that second incident is where the controversy begins, Doc?
Exactly, my friend, exactly. Because evidence later suggested that second attack may not have happened at all.
Not misinterpreted, not happened?
Radar signals, sonar readings, environmental interference, all of it may have created the illusion of an attack. Even some personnel involved expressed doubt almost immediately, Alex.
Yet the narrative presented to the public was certain.
Yes, certainty moves faster than uncertainty. And in this case, it moved policy. Alex, I would like to know what Titus has to say about it.
Titus, enlighten us, body.
To ground this, Alex and Dr. X, the Gulf of Tonkin is a body of water in the northwestern South China Sea, bounded by China, Hainan Island, and northern Vietnam. It is historically infamous as the site of the 1964 incidents that provided the pretext for the United States' full-scale escalation of the Vietnam War. The first incident. On August 2, 1964, the USS Maddox, a U.S. destroyer conducting signals intelligence in international waters, was engaged by 3 North Vietnamese torpedo boats. The Maddox fired back, and U.S. aircraft damaged the approaching boats. The second incident. On August 4, 1964, the Maddox and another destroyer, the USS Turner Joy, reported a second chaotic attack during a severe thunderstorm. The reality. Declassified documents later confirmed that the second attack never actually took place. U.S. crews had likely mistaken faulty radar returns, weather anomalies, and their own ship's maneuvers for enemy fire. The second Gulf of Tonkin attack was likely a misinterpretation of data rather than a confirmed engagement. However, it was still used to justify the Gulf of Tonkin resolution,
which effectively expanded U.S. involvement in Vietnam without a formal declaration of war, Doc.
Correct, Alex. It granted broad authority to escalate military action, all based on an event that may not have occurred as described.
Let's sit with that. A moment of uncertainty becomes a moment of certainty, and that certainty becomes a catalyst for war.
Yes, Alex. And once that process begins, it's very difficult to reverse.
So the real issue isn't just whether the attack happened. It's how information was handled in real time.
Exactly. Was it a mistake? amplified under pressure, or was ambiguity presented as clarity because it served a purpose?
That's the uncomfortable space. Dr. X, do you think the decision-makers knew the second attack was uncertain?
There were doubts, even at high levels, Alex. But doubt doesn't always stop action, especially when action is already being considered.
So the incident may not have created the decision, just accelerated it. A means to an end, Doc?
Precisely.
Historically, this reflects a broader pattern. Ambiguous events can be interpreted in ways that align with existing strategic goals.
So the question becomes, was this about reacting to an attack, or about using an event, real or unclear, to justify a direction already in motion?
And that's where history becomes less about facts and more about framing.
An attack that may not have happened, a response that undeniably did, and a war that escalated with consequences that lasted years. So we're left with this. How often does history turn, not on what actually happened, but on what was believed, reported, and accepted in the moment? Because sometimes, the most powerful events aren't the ones that occur, but the ones that are said to. In the end, the Gulf of Tonkin incident reminds us that history is not only shaped by events themselves, but by how those events are perceived, interpreted, and communicated in real time. What may have begun as uncertainty, signals blurred by error, doubt voiced but not heeded, quickly solidified into a narrative that carried immense consequences, accelerating a war without a formal declaration. Whether the second attack occurred or not becomes almost secondary to the deeper issue: how ambiguity can be transformed into certainty when it aligns with momentum already in motion. And so, we're left to consider a lingering truth. Sometimes the course of history turns not on what definitively happened, but on what people believed happened and the actions taken in response.
This has been Akashic Echoes. Stay curious, stay aware, and remember, take everything with a grain of salt, preferably the size of a small asteroid.